guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be reading some more scary stories. So as per usual, I have my wicked candle in here making the whole room smell like caramel apples. And I don't really have anything to ramble about besides this wig is kind of being annoying because the curls have fallen pretty aggressively. So it's like kind of wavy now and not really curled anymore. And it's really tangled and it's kind of annoying and I don't really know how to fix it. So we're just gonna deal with it. But it might be one of these wigs that I end up retiring because it's really, really tangled and I don't know if I can fix it. So we shall see. But anyway, I have a bunch of stories saved and I'm excited to read them. So the first story that I want to read is from the ghost story section and it's from the Reddit author Plute_OHOH and it's titled, "They Don't Come If You Sleep on Your Side." This happened to me when I was in high school. One week, I was having difficulty sleeping. I remember specifically one night I was having an awful dream where I was stuck in bed and I couldn't move. It reminded me of a movie I watched where a person was awake during a surgery and was paralyzed. It creeped me out. I told my mom about it and she said it was probably because of the movie I watched. The next night, I woke up in the middle of the night and was having such a difficulty time getting back to sleep. I decided to roll onto my stomach. When I rolled, I realized how dark the hallway was. For context, I shared a bedroom with my younger sibling. We shared a bunk bed where I slept on the bottom bunk and she was on the top. The way the bed was placed was against the wall facing the bedroom door, which led to a long hallway. It creeped me out because it was just abnormally dark. I relaxed my head onto my pillow and that's when I felt something jump on my back. The minute I gasped, I felt my body sink into the bed and just an unbearable amount of pressure was on top of me. I began panicking. I was trying so hard to lift myself, but all I could move was my neck and my head. I began screaming for my mom, just screaming for anyone to help me, only for pressure to creep onto my neck and then my head. Next thing was my jaw locking. I was only able to make guttural sounds. No one came to my aid. My sibling was sound asleep above me. It was like no one could hear me. I was so scared I began feeling claustrophobic and began to panic even more. I began praying the Hail Mary in my head over and over again. After a few minutes, the pressure began to lift away, starting at my head and going down to my ankles. As I finished the prayer, it felt like hands slowly releasing from my ankles. I was so scared. I kept praying just a little bit more before climbing next to my sibling and I spent the night praying. The next day, I told my mom what had happened. She told me a demon was trying to get me for being a bad kid. Rolling eyes emoji. Bullshit, I know. But what she told me after really weirded me out. After her rant, she told me, "You have to sleep on your side. They don't come when you sleep on your side. Prop yourself up using pillows, but never sleep on your back, only on your side." Later that day, she gave me a gold necklace of a cross. It would be years since I experienced another similar incident. To this day, I always wonder, was it sleep paralysis or was it something worse? That's really creepy and I don't know how to feel about that because I'm a side sleeper, so I'm already safe as is, but I mean, that's really freaking creepy and literally give me a reason to not sleep on my back other than the fact that I literally can't because it's too uncomfortable. But thank you so much for allowing me to read your story. That was super creepy and let's move on to the next story. So the next story is from the ghost story section again, and it's from the Reddit author Bleach Streeper. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. And the title is Ghost on the Beach. This happened in 2021 in the middle of summer at Myrtle Beach. Me and my boyfriend had got a suite on the beach to celebrate our 4-year anniversary. We had walked the beach up until around 11 p.m. when we decided to go back to our room since my significant other's stomach was bothering him. We got back to the room and he decided to lay down. I decided to go to the balcony and watch the ocean under the night sky. Our hotel room was between the 5th and 8th floor and the beach completely lit up for miles both ways. A lot of teenagers were out on the beach directly below me, partying and shooting fireworks. I watched entertained while they shot a huge firework into the sky. Suddenly, without thinking, my eyes indistinctly landed on a man who was standing behind the boys who had just shot the firework. I saw this man so clearly. He was a black middle-aged man wearing a white t-shirt and dark shorts. He was clearly distressed, and without hesitation, the man does a 180 and starts running down the beach, away from where the fireworks were being shot. As this man got further away, I watched his body begin to vanish. I could literally see the beach through his body when finally the faintest glow outlined his body and he completely disappeared. My body froze and I tried calming myself as I made my way to my boyfriend, trying not to freak out about what I had just saw. For the rest of the night, we both heard a lot of weird noises. It started with the toilet seat in our own bathroom being slammed down and the dishes in our cabinets being rattled. We both heard the noises and barely got any sleep that entire night. And that was their entire story. So they just had a ghost experience on Myrtle Beach. So that's really interesting. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your story. That's really creepy, but also really cool at the same time that you experienced that. The next one that I want to read is from the ghost story section again, and this one is just anonymous. And they said, I have posted this experience before on an old Reddit account, but it was a while ago, so I thought I'd share it again. We live on a remote farm in the Peak District of Derbyshire in England. My bedroom faces onto the yard at the back, and opposite is a building for the animals, and to the right there is a huge field where they can go out during the day. Surrounding us at the back is wood. We got hikers there sometimes, in summer usually, but like I said, it was pretty remote, and the nearest neighbor is about 2 miles away. So there's no reason for anyone to be out at night. One evening, a few years back, it was dusk, and while not completely dark, it was black on the field where the woods are. I was closing my curtains in my bedroom, and I saw a white figure with a faint glow standing at the edge of the field, looking away towards the other end of the field. It then started to walk towards the woods, but there's a fence there, which they would have to climb over to get into the woods. But instead, this figure just walked through the fence and faded. I never saw it again, but now I basically just keep my curtains closed at all times before it even starts to get dark. So they just basically saw a woman in white. So that's really, really cool, and that's really fascinating. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your story. And now I'm going to jump over to Instagram because I have a couple stories from you guys that I want to read. So again, like usual, I'm not going to say names or anything. And this is an update from one of my last videos. She sent me her post about the Barbie doll, if you guys remember that video. And this is a update to more of her scary stories. The next encounters I remember were at the house we had built after the apartment I had the Barbie dream in. This was a brand new house in a brand new development, so no previous owners. Many things happened here, paranormal and just traumatic. First off, I would always see shadow people every night. I slept with my doors open because I was scared being locked in my room with them because every night there would be a shadow man by my door. I also continued to have my closet door closed, but would wake up with it open 50% of the time. I honestly just tried to ignore it and never told my mom because she would get super scared and think I was just messing with her. I even tried switching it up and keeping it cracked with the light on in the closet since I now had more of a walk-in closet at this new house. But I would wake up with the light off in the closet in the middle of the night. The TV would turn itself on and off randomly as well. There were about 4 shadow people I would see regularly. 1 man, 1 woman, and a child. There was this tall man with a hat. So the Hat Man. He was the one I would see at night the most. So there was this one time, me and my little sister skipped school. I know, stupid, but when we woke, our parents were already gone for work, so we decided to seize the opportunity. We wish we hadn't. It was a pretty normal early 2000s day, watching music videos on the TV, Disney, and keeping inside because we didn't want anyone knowing we were home because of the school thing. Well, at one point, we decided to play in our playroom. It was a very big playroom upstairs that also was the room that had access to the attic. Halfway through playing, we heard a knocking, and we thought that someone was at our door, so we quietly went downstairs to check, and no one was there. Weird, but whatever, so we went back to playing. There were 3 distinct knocks that sounded like they came from directly above us, in the attic. We screamed and ran downstairs and stayed there until our parents got home, who we couldn't tell what happened or we'd risk getting caught that we were playing hooky. This terrified us, so we just kind of avoided the playroom unless our parents were in there with us, which they eventually made their room instead of a playroom. The next story, I don't really know what to think of it, but it still confuses me to this day. I'm at the same new house, we had the same bunk beds from my apartment, but I was on the bottom now and my sister was on the top. I was and still am super anal about my bed being made before I sleep in it. Tucked in perfect, stuffed animals all around the bottom where my feet are and a few up on my pillows. Same way, every night. This is one of the few nights I actually didn't wake up and see the Shadow Hat Man or anyone else for the matter. I just slept good for once, or so I thought. When I woke up, it was like someone took my mattress and flipped it. Where my head was where my feet were and vice versa, with the ends being tucked in perfectly and stuffed animals were where they usually were at my headboard instead of my footboard. My sister and mom asked me why I had moved it, and I never did. I still have no idea how or why that happened, but I feel like it was one of the shadow people taunting me. Another thing that always happened was one year for Christmas, I had gotten this beautiful Rapunzel porcelain doll. As soon as I opened her, I was terrified because of the Barbie thing, but had this intense feeling she would come back if I got rid of her. So I always made sure to tell her good night and good morning and make sure she was kept nice. And when I went to sleep, I would turn her away from facing me because she scared me. But no matter what, she would always be facing me in the morning. Honestly, I don't even know what happened to that doll as of now, but I would bet she's in storage somewhere in my mom's garage. I wonder if I'd still get the same feeling now if I found her again. I have 2 or 3 other stories I'll send you when I'm able to type everything up. Thank you for reading. So the bed literally being flipped around and you were literally sleeping on it when it happened is terrifying. And you didn't feel it, you didn't wake up at all. Like, that's so creepy. The fact that you woke up and everything was reversed is so weird. And then your last story that we talked about, the Barbie doll, how like you had a really, really vivid dream and then the Barbie was like coming out of the closet and then like the Barbie was literally out of the closet when you woke up. Terrifying, I hate that. And then yeah, dolls freak me out too, so the fact that they bought you another doll just freaks me out. I would have straight up told my parents, please stop buying me dolls because they terrify me too much. And that's just me as an adult. Ever since I watched that one movie, I think it was like Dead Silence or something, I just hate dolls. Ventriloquist dolls, all of those dolls in general, fuck that. I will never have a doll in my house. But that is so creepy and really, really, really weird that you would wake up and the doll would be facing you even though you went to sleep with it facing the other way. I hate that so much. Oh my God, that's terrifying. So the last story that I want to read is another Instagram story, and they said, hey, I love to listen to your YouTube videos in the background and I wanted to know if I could share some of mine. I grew up as a creepy child and have tons of weird, scary experiences, so here's one for starters. I grew up in a fairly ghetto area in California and had multiple unexplainable experiences in my grandparents' house. For some background, my grandparents offered to let my parents live with them as they were going to school or work. My parents married really young and had my older brother, and my grandparents watched us as my parents were always out of the house. The house was old, really old. It was one of those houses that the foundation was mostly wood and it still needed a furnace to heat the whole house. Those windows were also those really rectangular ones that were super high up more than normal ones, like the ones where they were out of date and not safe for fire hazards because they were way too high up to climb out of. This is important. One day, my grandmother was home watching me and was doing laundry while I was watching Teletubbies or something on the TV. I was about 4 years old at this point. I sat on her king-size bed and the window was off to the right. I got a glimpse of what looked like the top of my aunt's head pass at the bottom of the window. This made sense since the window was higher up. I excitedly yelled and told my grandma that my aunt was home and she stormed to call the school saying, your aunt better not be skipping class again. I loved my aunt a lot and I decided to run to the backyard where I saw her. But because I was only 4 and very tiny, I had to climb down the bed and fumble with the doorknob to get to the backyard. The school answered my grandmother's call only to tell her that my aunt was at school. My grandmother, sensing something was wrong, ran to the backyard when she noticed I wasn't on the bed anymore. The way my aunt walked, it was to the side of the house. My grandmother ran around the corner and saw me with someone's arms reaching around me. She bolted, screamed, and it retracted its arms. This is when I blacked out. My grandmother apparently saved me from getting spirited away because she said when she looked around the corner to see who was trying to take me, there was nothing but stacks of firewood that was stacked on the side of the house. The thing that also lived in the house adored me but hated my aunt. It really tried to be her in many instances. It tried to pretend to look like her and imitate her voice. There are many stories I have about this entity. And that's where they ended their stories. So if you want to send me more of your stories, I would love to hear more. That's very interesting. I love videos, but I also kind of hate them at the same time because they're absolutely terrifying. Of you guys sending me in of things that are like mimicking you in your house or like mimicking your family members. That's so fucking creepy. I hate that so much, but I love reading those stories. That's just like so fascinating, but so fucking creepy. Oh my God, that freaks me out. But thank you so much for sending me your story. If you want to send me more of your stories about that house or that entity, feel free to send me as many as you want. You guys don't have to ask me to send me your stories. You guys can literally just message me and I will read them as soon as I can. And if they're appropriate for the channel or if they're laid out and it makes sense, I will definitely read them. So if you guys have sent me stories in the past where I haven't read them, it's probably because something went wrong with the message and I don't understand it, or it's laid out in a way that doesn't make sense, or Instagram just kind of sucks and it got broken up in a weird way. So if you have a story that you sent to me in the past and I haven't read it and it's been a long time, please feel free to either resend it to me or send me a message and I will boost it to the top, and then I can let you know if something's wrong with it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know this is a shorter video than I normally do. I try to keep my videos around the 20-minute mark, but I'm about to go out for dinner with my boyfriend. We're going to an unlimited sushi place, so I'm very excited. So this is where I'm going to end the video. If you guys did make it to the end of the video, please leave me your favorite Halloween emoji, because I don't care what anyone says, the 1st of June is the first of spooky season. So we are already on June, what day is it today? Is it the 22nd? I think it's June, oh, it's June 23rd today. So we are already 2 days into summer and Halloween is in full swing because spooky season has started. They've started to bring spooky and Halloween decor into stores. So I don't care what anyone says, spooky season has officially started. So if you guys made it to the end of the video, leave me your favorite Halloween emoji. If you guys have any scary stories, any spooky stories, or any paranormal stories, or Let's Not Meet stories in general that you would like to share with me in the channel, please feel free to message me on Instagram, or you can send me an email. I'm going to be getting to my email really quickly here. I have a bunch of emails starred and they're waiting for me, and I've already pre-read them, so I can already know that I can read them and they're all appropriate. So I'm excited to read my email. I'm probably gonna be doing that in the next couple of videos. I know I say that all the time, but I actually went through and found ones that are appropriate for the channel and fit the theme. So I'm gonna be reading my email really quickly here. So if you guys wanna send me more emails, feel free to, or send me messages, perfectly fine, doesn't matter. Whatever format you guys want to send me on, I will definitely read them as soon as I can. But thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I will see you guys at the next video.